Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about a run scheme that not a lot of players are using, and I think this could lead to a lot of red zone touchdowns for you guys. Difference in the game is oftentimes getting that touchdown and taking 7 instead of relying on 3, or chasing the 4th down and goal and getting nothing out of it. So what we're going to be doing in any playbook in the game, I want you guys to go into concepts. You're going to go down to run, and you're going to look for inside zone, okay? Now, not just any inside zone, we're looking for an inside zone weak. So anything that says halfback zone weak, zone split weak, we're going to choose an inside zone that is going to kind of correlate with the defense that we're facing. So for those that don't know what read and react AI is, you can only run a run call that is not an RPO so many times before the defense basically auto run commits to it. The count for this is the number of defensive linemen plus linebackers versus the number of offensive linemen and tight ends. So as it pertains single back deuce close, halfback zone weak, we have 2 tight ends and 5 offensive linemen. This means that in order to get read and react AI against this, your opponent would have to be in something that has, for instance, 7 linemen and linebackers. So 4-3 or 3-4 based. That means that if your opponent is running a nickel defense, which has 4 linemen and 2 linebackers, or for instance here, a dollar defense, which has 3 linemen and 2 linebackers, that's not going to be enough, which means you could spam this run all game long against these types of defenses. So we'll go ahead and call this single back deuce close zone weak. Let's go ahead and break it down against the most popular defense in the game, which is probably your free safety zone blitz meta. Now, we know with this particular defense, they're going to pinch their defensive line, they're going to press, and a lot of players are going to put the safety on the left into a zone of some sort. Now, the thing about this run is, for some reason, zone weaks, when you run these, you want to run these opposite of the quarterback's handedness. I know that this is a traditionally the wrong way to go about it. If you have a right-handed quarterback, handoffs to the right are faster. And if you have a quarterback that's left-handed, handoffs to the left are faster.
I did not know that.
But zone weak with the opposite handedness of your quarterback is actually one of the best run schemes in the game. So when we actually run this, you see how this kind of wedges up in the middle, and we're able to get to that second level, and you're looking at basically 5-6 yards before contact against this particular defense. So again, here as I run this, this is the dollar meta with them blitzing on that left side. Again, we run this, you're gonna see that it all wedges up, and again, you get out to the outside. This is a touchdown. We weren't even touched. We didn't need the angry runs. This is something that is super simple. Now, of course, your opponent might go ahead and switch their defense after this. So they might go into something completely different. Now, before we break down what defense that might be, make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Zan Madden YouTube channel. Always breaking down content Monday through Friday in the mornings with long form videos, keep you on top of the pro meta and how to counter them. Oftentimes breaking down things that players aren't doing, like this particular video right here. If you guys are enjoying this video, again, drop a comment below, helps push this video out in the algorithm. I greatly appreciate all the support that you guys have. We're up over 32,000 subscribers. Let's keep the ball rolling. So naturally your opponents are going to say, all right, well, he's in a 2 tight end formation. That's 7. I need to have a count of 7. So they're going to go into something like the 4-3 even 6-1. Now, the cool thing is with this particular inside zone weak, you guys can run this same call against this a couple of times, once or twice, and then they'll start to auto run commit. Now in practice mode, there is no read and react AI. So even against the 4-3 even 6-1, you'll still be able to go to this a couple of times. This is a good run defense. A lot of players will run and hide in this, and eventually they're going to, get their stops. You see right here, the numbers count is better. The read and react AI logic is going to kick in after a couple of different plays. So you guys are going to want to call something a little bit better. Now, I wouldn't run away from this run scheme. I would just rather look for a better read and react count. So what you guys could do is go and find another zone weak. So for instance, we've got another example as you search through your playbook. Maybe you run a 3 tight end inside zone. This would be technically a zone weak. Again, zone weak and zone strong, it kind of relies on your numbers. If you have extra blockers to one side or the other, and they're not going to call it a zone weak if you're running behind your run strength. But in general, inside zone opposite of the handedness is very, very good. So now we're right back in this 4-3 even 6-1, but because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offensive linemen and 1, 2, 3 tight ends, and they only have a read and react count of 7, we are technically now 8 on 7. So they're not going to get the auto run commits. They're not going to get the sheds, and our hat count is better. So now when we go to run this, you see that it wedges up. And again, you're right back into the same scenario that we were with the deuce close setup, where we're able to really move this for easy yardage. Okay, so this particular run scheme is quite good. Now, what some players will end up doing is they're going to practice gap shoots. So let's go back into that dollar defense. A lot of players are going to pride themselves on understanding where to stand, how to gap shoot things. So maybe they say, screw it, I don't want to run 4-3 even 6-1. He's got me in a defense I don't feel comfortable running. I feel pretty good at gap shooting anyway. So maybe your opponent says, all right, well, I'm going to maybe stand, or I'm just going to go ahead and offset kind of right here, and my goal is to try to fly in through the B gap. Again, you see, this is still a very, very hard thing to gap shoot, but eventually some players are going to figure out ways that maybe they decide to pinch and crash, or maybe blitz the corners off the edge. They're going to be in a spot where maybe they can figure out how to kind of fly in. So maybe they do something like this and it opens up, and you see right there, they're able to kind of fly through. Again, we got kind of a lucky block right there, but again, the gap was there. You understand the premise of what we're teaching here. So in that situation, that doesn't mean that you guys run away from this. If they have a gap shoot, you're simply going to look for another run scheme that is going to actually be quite beneficial for you. So one of the ways that I typically attack a good gap shoot is what's called inside zone split. Now, you could run this out of a normal off close, but I would rather get under center with this. So again, we stay in the under center run. We're going to go with more of a zone weak split. So you see right here, we've got this sliding, basically linebacker. You know that they're trying to come through that left A gap. Go ahead and run something that's going to slide the tight end to the backside. This type of blocking style is basically called a sift, where you're going to have this linebacker that's kind of against the grain, kind of kicking out anything that's going to fly in through the backside. And then you have the ability to veer it back. So in the event that this occurs, you can always banana this run back to the backside and follow your blockers. So you see in this situation, we're in a much better spot. Again, right there, the AI kind of gap shot that on their own. Most players are not really going to be that good at gap shooting in general. But again, if they're kind of flying in through this backside gap, this is a great way to kind of neutralize that with that guy kicking that guy out. And you see how this particular blocking scheme can work. So in this situation, you wouldn't necessarily run zone weak to the left. You would rather run the zone split with the blocker going to the weak side to prevent that guy from flying through what was formerly the point of attack. So this is how you can kind of build your run scheme off of this. Now, of course, isn't just going to be running the ball under center. You guys understand that there's a lot to this game from a rollout meta standpoint as well. So you guys know that in this game, there are quite easy ways to roll out. The rollout meta from under center is very, very prevalent. So when you're running something like this, you want to complement it with having, rollout throws. So maybe we're back in this deuce close here, and I want to set up a rollout. We all know that basically if you just double team the edge, this is going to allow you to basically, as soon as the ball snapped, you're going to hold down outside and get kind of a speed boost and roll out. And now you're on the run looking to kind of throw your little corner routes. And obviously you want to click on and make these catches. But this is how a lot of players are going to get their quarterback out on the perimeter off of this, throwing a lot of these corner routes that can complement the run scheme. So again, I just kind of want to share with you guys a really effective under center run scheme. Obviously with this not being an RPO, you need to pay attention to your read and react AI. But I do think this is the best run scheme to kind of pound the ball down in the goal line. I think 3 tight end inside zone weak is probably the hardest to stop run. A lot of players aren't used to gap shooting it at this point. And like I said, you have that inside zone split style blocking if they do have a gap shoot for it. So that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up. If you guys want more, head over to gridirongameplans.gg. Been working all year long. Keep you guys on top of the meta. 11 offensive and defensive game plans, well over 250 vault tips, members only Discord, lab sessions in that Discord every single week. I'll see you guys over there. Otherwise, I'll see you guys right back here tomorrow with our next YouTube upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab in. Good luck.